You welcome back. Ondo State in the southwestern part of Nigeria is grappling with a political quagmire as Governor Rotimi Akeredolu remains absent, taking residence in neighboring Ibadan, Oyo State, after a medical vacation in Germany. The People's Democratic Party, the opposition party in that state, is not holding back and is pointing fingers at the governor's aides for allegedly prolonging his stay away from official duties. The initial empathy for Akeredolu's health struggles has now transformed into widespread concern and questioning. As the state seemingly stagnates, the opposition party argues that illness should not be an excuse for governance standstill. The spotlight is on the governor's whereabouts and the growing discontent that raises critical questions about Ondo State's leadership vacuum. To discuss this tonight, Henry Olonimoyo is a political analyst. He joins us from Ondo State, and Benson Enikuomehin is a former commissioner for Ondo State on the governing board of the Niger Delta Development Commission. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. We start with you, Dr. Enikuomehin. Where is Governor Rotimi Akeredolu? I just want to confirm what you know about his current situation.
Interestingly, I'm not one of his aides. I am a citizen of Ondo State. The information that is gathered is to the effect that when the man returned from Germany, he was taken to Ibadan. And the last I saw of him was when 4 of the governors in the Southwest went to visit him at Ibadan. So with the visitation of the governors, it is confirmed that Mr. Akeredolu SAN resides and stays in Ibadan and not in Ondo State. That is the much I know. I am not one of the aides who can give the day-to-day activities of Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu.
But you are a resident and an indigene of Ondo State, if I'm not mistaken. He's your governor, so at least one would take it for granted that there should be some information going on about the governor's state of health, and maybe information to enlighten the public on why he is still running the state, if he is, from a neighboring state. But the fact that you don't know, I think, says some things, as very informed person in Ondo State. But Barrister, how does this prolonged absence of Governor Akeredolu impact, in your view, the day-to-day governance and decision-making in Ondo State? Some could argue that, he just can use his phone, he can use the internet, his aides can visit him. After all, President Buhari's aides were bypassing former Vice President Oshibajo to go to London to give him files to sign. So nothing spoiled.
Well, I think in Nigeria, we dwell more on abnormality and use abnormality as that which is normal. We didn't vote for Akeredolu to stay in Ibadan and govern us. The capital of Ondo State is Akure. Interestingly, when Mr. Akeredolu was campaigning during his first tenure, I was in the team that campaigned for him. And for the records, when he was returned as the governor-elect, I was the agent that stood in for him. And I didn't have any instruction to the effect that Mr. Akeredolu will stay in Ibadan and govern us. His absence from Ondo State is giving the state a situation of a sheep without a shepherd. And God forbid that those handlers will come and tell us the governor can rule from anywhere. We never voted for him to rule from anywhere. We voted for him to govern us, to lead us, to direct us, to feel our pain from Ondo State. And sometimes I hear when people say, oh, the salaries of civil servants are being paid. I think those ones are not serious. Governance is beyond paying the salary of civil servants or political office holders. The governor holds a weekly meeting at the State Executive Council where decisions are taken for the best interest of the state. Governor receives people who come to the state for businesses, for talks. He receives them in the chamber. There are indigents of the state who will need to speak to their governor. But some person just want to go to the governor's office and greet him that this is my governor. So those opportunities and functions which is to carry out are not there. And to manage the affairs of the state cannot be done from any other place. Therefore, those who are demanding his whereabouts have a legitimate concern to so demand for it. And I join them in demanding that if Mr. Rotimi Akeredolu is not capable of doing the work for which we voted for him, not his fault. Anybody can be sick. If he's no longer capable, then we should invoke the provisions in Section 189 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which empowers the State Executive Council to pass a vote of no confidence that the man is incapable of functioning.
All right.
But I have a challenge. The challenge is this. Can the members of the Executive Council, which he unilaterally appointed, can they do this onerous task? I nurse the fear. They will not. When Mr. Akeredolu was sick, the members of the State Council couldn't do it. What was it that was done? And kudos to Senator David Mark and his team. They came with the theory of doctrine of necessity. I believe the crop of persons that are in the Executive Council of Ondo State will not, and I use the word, will not and cannot even do so.
All right.
Because, again, he who pays the piper dictates the tune.
Benson, thank you very much. Benson, I want to bring in, apologies, I have to interject there. I want to bring in a Henry Olonimoyo, political analyst, also in Ondo State like you are. Henry, we've heard from Benson who has said that, you know, the governor is running the state from Ibadan or your state where he's lived before he even became governor. In your view, can a state governor, or state rather, effectively function without its chief executive for an extended a period of time? What sort of challenges may arise if you feel this is not possible?
Yes, thank you very much. Our laws, the laws of our land are clear, and it spells out rightly that there must be persons who must be responsible for the day-to-day running of a state, and the chief of which is the governor of the state, who is also ably assisted by his deputy governor. And these people must be on ground to run the state. And of course, the law also envisages that there could be instances where the governor might travel out of the state or for health reasons might not be able to carry out his duty. That is why the law provided for a deputy governor to be in place so that he can hand over the duties of the day-to-day running of the state to his deputy. But what we have today happening in Ondo State is that for over 2 months now, the governor is in Nigeria, but has not stepped foot on Ondo State. He's not stepped his foot on Ondo State, and the deputy governor who was operating as an acting governor is no longer operating as an acting governor. And then we are in a quandary. We don't know who is administering the affairs of the state. You will also recall that there are many programs held at in Abuja at the State House where Ondo State is represented. And if you check, even when deputy governors and governors also met with the president at Villa, Ondo State was not represented there. And this, for me, is a serious cause for concern. And that's not to talk about issues like the way the State Executive Council should meet, I think on a weekly basis. And if there's no governor to be on seat, and there is no, and the deputy governor is not allowed to function in an acting capacity, then all of these issues are serious cause for concern. So the question is, who is calling the shots as far as Ondo State is concerned? It's a very serious issue.
All right. So Benson, who is calling the shots? That's a very important question that Henry is asking. In your opinion, who do you think is taking the important decisions of governance in Ondo State?
Let's call it spade a spade. And the truth of the matter is that there are some persons who are members of the State Executive Council who call themselves cabal. We don't know, constitutionally, we don't know them. But they have constituted themselves into a clique in which they tell us, like Ali and the Angel, that the governor said so. The governor did this. The governor whispered to us. I know Mr. Akeredolu too well. He was the chairman of NBA, the Nigeria Bar Association, or president rather. I was once his aide. I was the senior special assistant to him on oil and gas till I resigned in November 2018. Mr. Akeredolu is an extrovert. If something touches his body, he will speak out. I feel sad for him that ailment has brought this upon him. It is sad indeed. But as at now, Mr. Akeredolu is not in charge. Absolutely. We have not heard him speak. We have not heard him address us.
All right.
Even when the governors went to visit him, we saw his demeanor.
Okay.
That is ruthless. Those who are in charge are a clique of persons who want to make maximum either financial or whatever benefit from the absence of Mr. Governor. And
thank you very much, Benson. It's quite an interesting claim you've made. We definitely will have this conversation at some other point as the developments continue to unfold. But I want to thank both of you for your time. Benson Enikuomehin, he is a former commissioner in Ondo State on the governing board of the NDDC, former aide to Rotimi Akeredolu, and battle governor of Ondo State, like you heard him say. And of course, Henry Olonimoyo, his political analyst, also in Ondo State. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. And to those of you watching, thank you so much for being good company throughout the entire week of Politics HQ. Big thanks to our team, those on the production team, and of course in the control rooms as well. Appreciate your time. For all of you, we'll be back next week. But don't forget, throughout this weekend, we'll be covering the off-cycle elections on News Central TV. My name is Kofi Bartels. Good night.